What's up everyone and welcome to Ola Testing. Today I'm extremely excited to announce the Chug pedal, a high gain preamp distortion. This right here is the Solar Guitar's new distortion pedal. Yes, we are making distortion pedals now. Holy shit. I say distortion pedal, but it's basically a high gain preamp that you can use straight into your audio interface, your amplifier, your combo amps, whatever. You have this very simple layout with bass and depth all in one knob. So there's an outer knob and an inner knob. So bass and depth, mid control, presence and treble on this one. You got a high frequency and a low frequency gain, an overall gain, and then an output and a noise gate. And I'm just ready to chug, man. It's time to chug. Also, can you see me? Oh, wait, where am I gone? Am I really here, huh? That's what happens when you have a t-shirt like this. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to connect this pedal to whatever application you're on. I'm connecting it to an audio interface, I'm gonna connect it to a big amping cabinet and a combo amplifier. Right now, I have the Chug pedal connected straight into my audio interface, and I'm using an impulse response I made that is available if you go to the Chug website. And it sounds like this. This guitar is tuned to standard E, by the way. So we're starting with having all the knobs around 12 o'clock. Starting with gain, as you can hear, this is not really a noisy pedal. This is with the gate off. But if you turn off the gate, now it's completely silent. Extremely useful gate. Okay, going with the bass and the depth. So obviously, since it is more like a preamp, you need the depth as well. That is a dial that's usually on a bigger amplifier like this, for instance, and that's usually for the power amp section. So since you have the depth, you also have a presence knob on the other side here. But let's start with dialing the bass knobs. Then the depth. There's really a whole abundance of bass if you want to, so let's dial it back a little bit. Right here we have the mid knob. Let's try it out. Very nice. Last but not least, we have the treble and the presence. Treble at 0. Treble at max. Presence at 0. So there's a lot of options when it comes to EQing, depending on your situation. If you're plugging straight into the input of an amplifier, if you connect to an effects loop, or to a combo, or to an audio interface. So you're pretty much set with using these 5 different EQ knobs. All right, we have the gain. $12 o'clock, let's go to max. pretty explanatory with the gain knob right here, but you also have the high frequency and low frequency gain, which gives you a little bit of options when it comes to dialing in your gain character. Like if you have an 8-string guitar, sometimes it gets a little flubby on the low end. You can dial in the low frequency gain to tighten up that low end a little bit, or vice versa on the high end. So let's check it out. We're at 12 o'clock on both right now. Dialing down the low frequency gain. Dialing it up. Gives a little bit more fussy type of character. The high frequency gain, turn it down to 0. Max. Having the high frequency gain and the low frequency gain is a good way of personalizing your distortion. Now say you want to use this as a distortion pedal into your clean amplifier. I'm going to connect it to this Mesa Badlander Roadster. If I would do this with any type of amplifier where I connect the pedal into the input, not the effect loop, the input of the amplifier, I would dial down the treble and the presence. Since this is a preamp pedal that's going to be able to handle itself on its own, it's going to deliver a lot of treble and presence, which is not something you want going into the input of the amplifier, unless you're into that type of sound. But start with dialing down the presence and the treble, and also start by dialing down the output, because you never know with an amplifier if it's going to get really loud. So that's the clean tone. All right, let's engage the pedal. Dialing up the output. And same thing here, the gate. The amp is pretty loud, but with the gate, it becomes really silent. Without? All right, let me plug it into the effects loop just to demonstrate. Depending on what type of amplifier you have, effects loop work differently. If you have a Marshall JCM 800 or a PV5150, for instance, and you connect something to the effects loop return of that amplifier, it's gonna be all volume. The master volume is not gonna work. The loop is always full on. So it's always a good rule of thumb to dial down the output of whatever type of equipment you're connecting to an effects loop. So start with the output at 0, okay? And now since we're connecting to an effects loop, I can dial up the presence and the treble again, because now this becomes more of a preamp for the power amp of this amplifier. So it's not only for chugging, guys, you can also play leads. I would personally recommend using a chug pedal into the effects loop of a power amplifier, but if your amplifier doesn't have an effects loop, I would just go straight into the input, dial down the presence and the treble, and you're good to go. But since people are probably gonna be like, hey, hold on, you're using a really good, very expensive amplifier to demonstrate your point, well, that's why I brought out this. This is an MD15 combo, and I'm gonna plug it into this. So just to demonstrate, I have no idea how this is gonna sound, but I'm putting up this microphone right here. Me. It's my concentration face. Is that even a speaker? I have no idea, but let's do it like this. So going into the input of the combo amplifier, I would dial down the presence and the treble, dial down the output as well, because you just never know. Like this is a really cheap, shitty combo. Okay, here's the clean tone. Here's the chug. So there you go, that's the chug pedal for you right there. It's meant to do one thing, and it is to chug. Also, sales Ola aside, I'm really proud about this pedal. We've been working on this for a couple of years now. I'm just so relieved to finally be able to show it to you, you know? It's probably one of my best kept secrets. No? I don't know. If you're interested in getting this pedal, you can get one from solarguitars.com. It's available immediately, so you can be chugging next week if you want. How about that? Thank you so much for watching this little video. Have a great weekend, guys. Goodbye.